You are listening to the Eskimo Empire Podcast, a proud member of the Canadian Football Podcast Network.
Welcome to the Empire. It's the Eskimo Empire Podcast.
Riley's in the shotgun, looking downfield, and then throws. It is up in the air to the goal line. Bounces. What a catch! What a catch by Duke Williams! Touchdown, Eskimos! Bryant Mitchell! It's going to be intercepted. Arjun Colhoun.
Mike appears to be a CFL encyclopedia.
Welcome back to the Turf District. It's another episode of the Eskimo Empire Podcast, brought to you by United Construction Company. Check out all the great builds they do at unitedconstruction.ca and check out all of our links and social media at eskempire.ca. I'm Andrew, and to my podcast left is everyone's favorite hoarder superfan, Mike.
How's it going?
That's going all right, actually. You know what?
You're at peace with it.
I have a new piece this week. Yes, I really do. Yes, and there was some good news that we'll talk about later today, or at least, there was things that are going on that you're like, not all hope is lost at this moment.
There you go.
I really wanted Coach to enjoy the intro to this show.
You're drunk.
Could be. I tell you, it's a good way to find peace some days. I'm going to love Grey Cup week. I'm going to be so peaceful.
Some are Brazilian ties like amateur.
Peaceful tie? Should we call him that now?
Yeah.
There we go. Now we're talking. Also here, of course, is the one and only Commissioner Kayla. How are you?
I'm a little concerned.
Really?
For you.
Why?
Oh, maybe we should get you one of those walkers, that babies have. So when you're walking, you can't fall over and hurt yourself again. Then you can drink as much as you like, and no harm will come to you.
You know what? I do appreciate
one of those jolly jumpers.
Exactly, with the little, round circular thing, and there's toys on the outer perimeter.
They outlawed those because kids were falling downstairs in them, right?
Well, we'll just keep you away from stairs.
Okay, great.
Or not.
Excellent.
Get the one that ties to the door jamb.
Well, so all of a sudden, what is that kid's name that Mike Myers played?
Yes.
I can't remember his name.
That is awesome.
It's probably Andrew. Anyway, that's pretty good. We should just take a quick moment to thank all the fans that took some time to vote for us in the Twitter Awards.
Yes, absolutely. Lots of votes.
Again, yeah, exactly. Yeah, this quarterfinal, semifinal, final thing it's hard.
It's very hard.
It's a lot of trying to get people. So I hope we didn't lose followers as they were trying to.
We're down to 7.
I did.
Yeah, I was just about to break 2,000. No. But if you did take the time to share and to vote, thank you very much. I guess it was based on total votes that got us kind of into the next rounds. So we are the final wild card into the final, which will be happening in a couple of weeks. So we will only be bugging you one more time for some votes there to try and hold down our third consecutive year as the CFL Twitter
it's stiff competition, though.
Yeah.
No.
BC Lions Den's on fire. 2 and out's always tough.
Yeah, and Piffles.
Exactly. And a Rider podcast.
Yeah.
We need to befriend some bigger ups like the Podfather has.
Farhan
Laharji, what the heck? How do you get that guy on your side?
What did you say?
Well, how do you say his last name?
Farhan?
Yes.
Lalji.
Yeah.
Well, if he was on our side, I would get his name right, but he's not.
That's true. Brian Hall.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my.
Yeah, that's what we need
Sorry, David Morley. You only go so far.
Well, you see Biff naked, actually?
Exactly. Well, that's kind of irrelevant.
All right, well, come on. Tupelo honey, get on board. Right. We need some help here, boys.
Lang.
That's what we need.
My sister's French.
Jenn Arden. We're the only Alberta one. Come on now, Wiz. You got to help us out.
The Horsemen are, out. Yeah.
That's correct, yes. Yeah, and everyone else saw Saskatchewan. Come on. Hopefully the two Saskatchewans kind of cancel each other out.
There you go.
See? I can see how this is working. Yeah. And BC's going to win. Okay, but thank you as well. I do want to say a thank you to all the people who have come to the tailgates this year because the tailgates were amazing. I was at all but 2, and we had a great time at all the tailgates. tailgates. No matter the cold, no matter whatever the weather was, the food was always fun, and the guests and people that we got to talk to were even better. So I just want to really say thank you to everybody that came by to the tailgate.
Yeah, and a big thanks to UCC as well. They supplied that TV setup we've got so we could watch the early game or an old Grey Cup or something like that. It really has changed things. People keep walking by and be like, double take. Is
yeah.
Do you guys have a TV going?
People coming and going, is that the game on? It is. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. So many people asking, like, how did you do that? Well, because we're brilliant.
Hillbilly magic.
That's right. That's we're Eskimo fans.
Right.
All right. So thank you to all the people who are involved in the tailgate. And hopefully next year we'll be back up and running and possibly a touch closer to our friends at Spirit.
Yeah.
That's the plan is.
And another glorious Empress we must thank, Miss Janelle, for supplying those amazing cupcakes for how many podcasts? How many tailgates now?
I think it was... I think it was all of them, actually.
All of them?
She brought something. Yes, absolutely.
Maybe it's because I came and they were all gone by the time I came.
Maybe the odd time. Yes.
But anyway,
it's very true. You really need to work on your transporter to get there just a touch earlier.
Your teleporter? Yeah.
Teleporter. That's the word I'm looking for.
We'll go with transporter. There's more of a...
Maybe she wants to be driven around by a guy who can beat up people. I don't know. Like, that's all right.
I'd be okay.
The wave. I wish this was a video podcast, but anyway, it's audio only, Kayla. All right, last thing I just want to mention before we get to our guest is congrats to Coach on his team's big win.
Heck yes.
Taking down the Sylvan Lake championship there and moving on to provincials. Mm-hmm. My son was out playing in the city finals, Tier 1 Pee-wees.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they weren't able to pull off the win, but one of our good friends, Christine Tuley, her son was playing on the winning team. So congrats to them. And a heck of a game out there in the snow and cold. And oh my goodness, it's nuts. But it's really cool to see all the fans cheering on those boys. And but it's cool to see them win and get to move on too, right? So that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, now, let's get to our fan who has been so patiently waiting as we're sitting here gabbing about all these other things and doling out all of our thank yous.
We have a podcast to do.
Yeah, exactly. Now, brand new featured fan. Now, the nice thing is you're also a podcaster, which I'm going to ask you about in a little bit here. But let's introduce you first. It is Jenn, or as you are known on Twitter, JennX.
Hello.
Yes, welcome to the Turf District.
Thank you very much. It is very exciting to be here.
Oh, well, I'm glad you're excited. We're excited you are here.
Beyond excited.
Now, before we get into Esks, though, tell us a bit about your podcast, because I thought that was really cool when I found out that you're a podcaster as well.
Yeah, I'm a newly minted podcaster. As of July, a friend of mine in LA and I co-host an X-Files podcast for anyone who's an X-Files fan.
An X-Files.
Nice.
It's called X-Files Diaries. Find us on iTunes and anywhere you find good podcasts.
Awesome.
And it existed. It was a pre-existing podcast, and my co-host Annie was one of the previous co-hosts. Her two co-hosts went on to other projects, and so we hooked up and took over and decided to take it on and take it in new directions, and we're super stoked about it.
That's fantastic.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we met on Twitter and decided that we had a lot in common, and so you can do that with podcasts.
Exactly.
I wish we had a camera on Kayla.
Welcome to how we were created.
Yeah,
yes, exactly.
Social media brings people together that have interests.
Yeah,
and then you can express those interests in all kinds of interesting ways.
Yeah,
so
that's
podcast
fantastic.
is one of them. So yeah, I'm envious that you guys get to sit in a room together because we have to do it over Skype, but it works. So
well, I mean, that's what we have with the Podski Wee Wee guys. Never met, and a lot of the other CFPN podcasts.
Yeah, I just met my co-host Annie down at a sci-fi convention down in Florida last week.
Fun.
Yeah, so we were both going there to see the X-Files cast, and so we got a chance to meet for the first time. It was extremely exciting.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
Is the reboot still going? Sorry.
Yeah.
Is the reboot still going?
The reboot is done. So
okay.
the show has not been picked up again, so it appears to be done for now. but the podcast continues.
Yes.
The fandom is forever.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's going
believe.
strong.
Yeah. Now, when you went to go down to meet the cast, was that kind of like a wow moment for you?
Oh, huge wow! That was my second con, as they call it, convention. I went to one in Montreal in July and saw a couple of members of the cast of the X-Files there. But this one down in Orlando had like so many members of the cast, and one by one, all of my Twitter friends were going, and I was like, well, I can't miss it. So I went down to Orlando, enjoyed some sunshine while it was snowing up here, and
not a bad thing.
It was a great thing, and got to meet a lot of my Twitter friends from all over the world. So
awesome!
It was really awesome, and some fans of the podcast, which was really cool too.
That is cool.
It's like, wow, there's actual human beings listening to us. It was a wonderful thing to find out.
It's so bizarre when that happens. I love the show. Really?
Yeah, like my show.
Like really? Like
really?
I talk?
You're actually listening to me on purpose? Yeah.
So a lot of cast was there?
Yeah.
Were the lone gunmen there?
The lone gunmen were not there. That was the missing piece of the puzzle. But they're going to be at X Fest next year in the Chicago area. So
you
I might have to go to that now. It's the only thing I'm missing. That's the only. They had everybody else pretty much. Mitch Pileggi was there. William B. Davis, David Duchovny, Gillian Anderson, Annabeth Gish, Robert Patrick. So I got just about everybody. Nice. So it was pretty awesome. I spent a lot of money on autographs and photos.
I bet.
And I regret nothing.
As it should be when you're a
that is what
super
fandom
nerd.
is about.
Exactly.
Look around the room.
Yeah, exactly. You immerse yourself in it, and it's all good. And you meet so many amazing people. You meet because you have common interests, but then you form friendships as well, which is great.
Yeah, and that's what Grey Cup Week is about for us, right? You see all these people that you talk CFL with all year, and then next thing you know, you're standing next to them, and you go, hey, let's chat. And
it's so awesome.
It's awesome, right?
Slurping the sluice juice.
Oh, God, the sluice juice, so good. Let's bring it back around to the Esks side of things. Now, when did you kind of get introduced to the Esks? Now, we talked a bit on the Periscope and how you became a fan. I know you became a season ticket holder for the first time this year. So kind of tell us about that progression and how you got to become a fan.
Well, I started to become a fan in like 2010 when I moved to Edmonton.
All right.
And 2011 probably really started to become a serious fan. Started actually buying my own tickets to games instead of just sort of waiting for tickets to come my way, which occasionally they just did. And then I just started going to more and more games. I started watching every game on TV. At one point, my husband said, "Have you watched every game this season?" And I said, "I do believe I have. I think I'm an official Eskimos fan."
I think
awesome.
And so, it just kind of grew from there. And I started going to more and more games every year. And with it being Grey Cup year this year, I thought this is the year, I think, to get the season tickets. Yeah, I was going to. I would always start off the year thinking, okay, I'm going to go to like 2 or 3 games. I'd always go to like the Labor Day rematch and a couple of other games. Yeah. But then as the season went on, I'd just started buying more and more tickets to more and more games. I'm like, oh, well, I can't miss this one. And then after a while, it was like, if I wasn't at the game, I was feeling like everyone's at the game but me. I should be there. And so that's when I knew it was time for season tickets. So
it's a wonderful guilt trip to have.
So now the important question. East side or west side?
Oh, west side is the best side.
Oh, there we go. Right into the dark side where we have cookies.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's why you guys are so pasty all the time.
Yeah, that's a reason.
That's it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's the Eskimo side. You got to be on the same side as the Eskimo bench.
That's right.
And I don't do sunshine. So
I don't do sunshine.
X-Files, no sunshine, girl. You got it going on.
I mean, I'm the only person that came back from Florida at least as white as I was when I went down. Spent the whole time inside.
Go to Florida, come back whiter.
Yeah, that was it. That's pretty much it.
So one of the great things about being at the stadium, of course, is the Esks store is there.
Yes, it is.
Do you partake a little bit, probably purchasing a few Eskimo items? I mean, you're wearing a hoodie, so...
I do partake quite a bit.
Excellent. What's your favorite item in your collection?
Good question. I have so many different things. I'd have to say it's probably my jersey, which I'm not wearing today. I'm wearing my Eskimos hoodie today. But... I always wanted a jersey for a long time, but it just felt like a big sort of outlay. And then one year, my birthday luckily falls in November, so it's sort of high time for CFL. And so one year, my husband got me one of the jerseys for my birthday, so I was very excited. And I have yet to. I'm the most indecisive person in the world, so I still haven't got a number on it.
You can get multiple numbers. You can get a number on the shoulder.
I probably just should, and I just can't. I keep changing my mind about who I want, so it remains a no-name jersey at this time.
Unaffiliated.
I'm unaffiliated. It's the team. It's all about the team.
It's a team jersey.
That's right. Yes. But I love my jersey. I wear it to every game, and every time that the game is on TV, I have my jersey on, and I have to have it on for the whole game.
Of course. Sometimes
I take it off really fast as soon as the game's over, depending on how things went. Wash it. Yeah.
Get the juju out.
That's right, yes. But I love my jersey.
Awesome.
Well, that's a beautiful segue from my question then. Seeing that you have a blank jersey, as do I, because I have commitment phobia, and now that I think that my number is leaving, there is no point. Yeah. Although there is one number that is looking mighty fine. Anyway, this is about you, not me. Sorry.
I love setting up questions with Kayla. This is awesome. Okay.
Do you have a favorite players or player, former, present? You can have more than one. It's okay.
Well, it's all of them in a way. Yeah. I mean, it's very. I feel like it's a little too broad. It's too trite to say Mike Riley, but I mean, I do love him with all my heart, so I can't help it. So
we all love you, Mike.
We love you, Mike.
Please stay. Please don't go.
You'll never be loved as much anywhere else. I'm just saying that right now.
It's
true. There's no way. No one can love you more than me, Mike.
I feel a ring coming on.
Yeah. I mean, I have
a restraining order.
Maybe both.
Either. Yeah.
So I mean, like I have like a little signed. It's one of those little footballs, one of those little Eskimo footballs that's signed by Mike Riley, and so. Second only to my jersey in my heart. And so occasionally I will talk to it when I need advice. I'll just say, Mike Riley, what should I do?
What would Mike do?
Yeah, basically.
WWMD.
He's like an idol in my host that I just defer to when I have questions.
I feel like you need a cutout of him. Like a big cutout.
Oh, my
Don't we all?
Chit chat.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
He comes with me everywhere in my heart. So, I mean, I love Mike deeply. In terms of like past players, the closest I've ever come to actually getting a name and number on my jersey, and I still will probably eventually do it, is Johnny Bright, the former running back.
Nice.
Because I love his story and I love everything he did for the city, and his number happens to be my favorite number, which is 24. So. Awesome. I feel like that's going to happen eventually.
That's an excellent choice.
Great choice. Great
so
choice.
In terms of past players, he'd be my number one. But, for current players, Mike Riley, I love Armando Sewell.
Oh, hard not to.
Especially with his new puppy.
Oh, he has a new puppy.
The new puppy.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of
We need a name, Armando. We need the name.
Yeah, we need to know
puppy.
the name of the puppy so we can love him properly.
That could be a contest.
Could be. Yeah,
Ooh,
exactly.
Yeah, I've got ideas. I've got a lot of names I could suggest.
Hop on Instagram.
Yeah. And I tend to love kind of this sort of a slightly lesser, not as famous guys that are still like, making the effort in the community, like Ryan King and people like that. I think that, guys like that do a lot. And Calvin McCarty, those guys that are really contributing to the city and contributing to the team, and maybe not quite, don't have quite as much of the star sort of thing about them, but they are stars in my heart, and I love them a lot. So just those guys that, they're kind of the unsung heroes sometimes. No one notices the long snapper.
Right.
But I do.
When they screw up, that's the only time you really notice.
Yeah, exactly, right.
Another offensive lineman, right? That's the thing, right? It's like until they screw up, you don't really know much about them.
So I try to. Well,
there's a couple we mentioned quite a bit, but not usually positively. Okay,
sorry, Coach.
That's what. It's a good segue. We should probably talk about our game that happened last week. We did have one final game to talk about. The Esks kind of let people leave with a smile as they pull off the 33-24 win over Winnipeg. That of course finishes them 9-9. So let's talk a little bit about the good in this game. What kind of stood out for you as the good, Jen?
Well, they won, so that's something.
Definitely a positive.
That was a happy thing. Mike had a strong game, Mike Riley, which was good to see. Sean White had a strong game, which was good to see. I mean, he got at least some opportunities to kick some field goals and some points after, which
we were
good.
on their side of the field, which is a good thing. Like, that was a start in the right direction.
Yeah, so at least he had those opportunities. So it was good to see him having some good opportunities.
Well, he went perfect on the day. He went 4 for 4 in field goals and 3 for 3 on point afters. Like,
And what was that monster one that he kicked before the half? Like 50
was it
yards
50
or something?
I thought it was
close
47.
to 50.
I think it was, yeah.
Was it 50?
And it was
Wow.
huge.
It was huge, yeah.
But that's the thing, right? I mean, he made his last 14 consecutive field goals, and again, I think it was his fourth year in a row that he finished higher than 90% on the year. Like
it's nothing.
It's just,
you never even have to think about it, right, with Sean. So I always enjoy that. And it was a great game to be at. I wasn't sure what to expect. Different people maybe had different experiences depending on where they were sitting, but I wasn't sure what the vibe was going to be at the stadium. I wasn't sure I was going to go. I was like, I don't know if I want to go and be a part of this, but I was glad that I went. I found it, people were still kind of cheering for the Eskimos.
Oh, yeah.
It was fun to cheer for them, and we'd spent the last couple weeks or 10 days being sad, and it was just nice to go and have some fun and enjoy ourselves and enjoy being fans one last time and try to have a positive end to the season. And so I found it a really fun game. I found that it was a fun crowd for the most part. It was I think it was really the diehard fans that were there mostly.
I would agree.
And that made for, I thought, a pretty fun group of, knowledgeable fans and fans that were enthusiastic. And it was a good time. It just, it did it ended the season on a little bit of a better note. And just to be together with other fans, all sharing the same experience.
Well, and
always a good
there
thing.
wasn't any pressure either, right? Like that was the thing I found. Like, it was, I wasn't freaking out about a missed call because it's like, well, who cares? Like, it doesn't really matter. So you could just enjoy the plays,
right?
Yeah,
right? I think that I agree with you, right?
It was still pretty loud too. I was quite impressed.
It was.
Yeah, that's how you can tell they're diehards.
Yeah, that's
the
right.
Bells were still out.
The bells were still out.
Yeah, I'm sure. I know you're positive, Kayla, but I'm gonna just ask you anyway.
Yeah, for me, my loyalty doesn't depend on them winning or losing. My loyalty is pretty firm within the team and the organization. They have to do something pretty morally repugnant for me to not cheer for them as a team. So
a heck of a game.
Yeah. Wouldn't it though? Yeah.
God, Mike.
You almost got a spit take on that one. That was good, Mike. Yeah. That was good. Yeah.
I was on a roll with my speech. Now I got to start from the beginning.
Oh, all right.
My English isn't great, and when it is, it's something to be proud of.
That was fantastic. I loved it. Yeah, it was lovely.
No, I mean, it is what it is. It's another season. It sucks that we're not in the playoffs. Doesn't mean that we are going to make it to the Grey Cup anyway. So, it was great to go out on a W. I mean, there's so much that we have to look towards, whether negative or positive, in this oncoming off season.
Yes. Business season.
Huh?
That's what Randy Radrosi calls it, right? Yeah, business season. That's what we're going to call it. Yeah, it's regular season and business season.
Yeah, I just cover my
just like
eyes.
Fitty says all the time.
Yeah. Fitty six pack.
That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was still fun. I was still cheering and doing all our traditional chants.
Mm-hmm.
There was some salty folk around, but
salty folk.
I mean,
no
I just wanted to dump more salt on the wounds for them because no one was going to ruin that game for me. I'd missed so many being abroad. Like I said, I mean, it is what it is. We have next year, and I'm sorry, but it would be super awesome to win in Calgary and just go in the middle of that field with the little horse and lift that trophy and be like,
the little horse.
Wow. Oh, you're just stirring the pot
on
now.
Fire.
I like that. Yeah, it's fantastic.
The trash talk is
ginger ale, apparently.
Yes, that'll do it.
Little gin and juice.
My little
what do you
pants.
got for a good here, Superfan?
CJ1K.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
CJ Gable, a heck of a game for him anyway. 2 touchdowns, over 100 yards rushing.
Classic.
And again, his first 1,000-yard season in his career.
Yes.
I thought he had a great game.
Yep.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Congratulations.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So.
And the sigh on that for me is, could you imagine if we did that every game?
Told you.
Hand off the ball.
And again,
it's amazing.
With an offensive coordinator, I think we have an opportunity.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
A dedicated offensive coordinator.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
But I thought he had a great game. I'm sure Kayla was probably cheering her heart out about a certain other receiver that had a pretty good game as well.
Not bad. Over 100 yards again. Yeah.
I mean, the commissioner was there, so
Exactly.
what else can you do?
She had the bat signal out, and he was responding.
That's lovely. I like that. Yeah, exactly. No, I think those are all good things, and I agree. I think the vibe was good. I liked, Hazelton's got over 80 yards receiving. Like
But he did have to Hazelton near it.
Yeah. Oh, I know. So it was interesting. I enjoyed watching it solely for the fact that, again, it was just your last chance to be in Commonwealth and to watch the boys play, and they played well. You were talking about Mike Riley, and he had a very Mike Riley-esque game. You know, 29, I think, I have it down here, 29 to 35, 320 yards, 1 TD and 1 interception. And he was just, making everybody look better.
Mike Riley.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to give although they didn't get a ton of sacks, there was a lot of pressure brought by the front four.
Sure.
And Serezna gets the 1 sack, and hey, an actual cart. You can tell he's been practicing since we harassed him over the last one, right? What is with the cartwheels, dude? And then next thing you know, hey, that was actually not bad.
Yeah. And
it's his niche.
It's no flossing.
It isn't. I really wish he would go back to the flossing, but the cartwheel was
someone else did.
Yeah, it was definitely better. So let's give him the props. Anything in the game that stood out as what the fire trucker for you there, Jennifer?
I'm trying to think. I don't know. It was all pretty good. I don't remember anything being too negative. I mean, it'd be nice if we could stop the run occasionally, but aside from that...
Coach is going to love you as a guest. Can Jen come back every week?
Yes,
Yeah, there was really no negative. Yeah.
It was all grand.
Yeah, I think I was just I was in such a zen mood that I was like, things that would normally bother me, I was like, whatever, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah,
it was like the most chill I've ever been in a game. Usually I'm like, no, but I was just like, whatever, it's all good. You tried. You did your best. I'm so pleased you're here. It was all, I was
effort.
Like, yeah, there was like, the defense could have been stronger in many places, but I didn't care anymore. It was just kind of like, none of this matters. If someone went down and I'd normally be like, oh God, they might be injured. Now I'm like, it doesn't matter anymore. So
don't want you injured, but you'll be all right.
Yeah, it was all, I was the most chill I've ever been at a game. So
all right.
Everything was like rainbows and puppies for me at that game.
All right.
I had just a lovely
Mondo
day.
be happy with that.
Yeah, he would be. Yes, exactly. Rainbow is another name for his puppy, maybe.
There you go.
See?
I like it.
Yeah, okay. Kayla?
Special teams. I was not so zen with rainbows and puppies.
No.
Oh my gosh! I was going to say something really inappropriate. So
All right. Well, good save.
yeah, just
We
got
wouldn't
that out.
edit it
Just
out.
got that out. Just got that out.
No, definitely not.
I just don't. I don't get it. Why do you suck so? Like.
I think that's how Shakespeare said it.
But I was in Europe, my dear. I don't get it. It's called a tackle. It's called a return. It's called a block. I don't get it. Do you have a playbook, or do you just go out there, you amateur crazy people? That was my negative.
We need more.
Really?
We need more certain type of personalities.
Yes.
Oh, and then some.
Yes.
Yeah.
Superfan?
I think the biggest heartbreaker for me was seeing Brandon Thompson leave the field injured again. My heart breaks for him. This is a guy that's waited a full year to get back on the field and doesn't make it through a game. And we had several go down. I mean, Brandon Thompson, of course, Martise Jackson went down.
Yep.
That was tough for sure.
Mm-hmm.
The defense, it was a bit disappointing, especially put someone to spy on the quarterback, especially when it's a guy like Strevler.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what he can do.
Yep.
You know what he's going to do.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know if that's going to just be more fuel to spelling the end of a certain defensive coordinator who shall remain nameless, especially if you're Jason West.
Yeah.
But mostly because he didn't know how to pronounce it.
That was a great.
We love you, Jason.
That was a good shot. That was good.
But, I mean, there were certainly a lot of positives to the defense this year, and I think it's just been mired in this whole... The last couple of games, they've just fallen apart a bit.
Yeah, The broken plays was the big one for me. Like, especially that giant touchdown right after we scored the touchdown, and it's like one play, 75 yards, right? You know, and you're just like, oh, come on, like really, but. So it definitely,
and we were going against second and third stringers on their offense.
Absolutely.
You know, our offense was going against a lot of first stringers, but our defense was going against the
the taxi team. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, it's a little, that was definitely disappointing. But I think,
were they moving some of the DBs around again?
Oh, yeah. Well, they had Aaron Grimes move over.
Yes, he was playing corner. Yeah.
But he's not a corner.
But it wasn't him that missed that one. That was Hightower.
Well, he did miss one, but then he caught up to him, so it saved that one touchdown. But then they just got it again. So it was just I don't understand. Like you said, why are you moving? Especially when Malama came back in, and now you're starting to mess up with a system that was working.
Yeah, I think
when Colhunia came back,
I think they were doing a bit of just auditions, right? Like put you in another spot, see what you do, and we can kind of figure it out.
Failed.
Do you think they should know at this point what they can and can't do?
I agree, but different game scenario. I know. So anyway, that may all change, but we don't know how that's going to turn out. Let's quickly go over a bit. I just want to talk first about the Esks Award winners, because we'll go to that, and then we'll take a little break. So. MOP, of course, Mike Riley. Anybody arguing that? No, I didn't think so. Most outstanding defensive player, J.C. Sherritt, who reaches 100 tackles again in a season.
I mean, after a season where he missed the entire year, practically.
Came back. Wow.
Absolutely great comeback player story.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the only thing that I would say with that, though, is I would say, yes, he could get the defensive player, but I would also put a tip of the cap, or could have taken it down, would be Almondo Sewell, because he really dominated the middle of the line all year.
But he makes everyone better, right?
Yeah,
Resnick had a solid,
absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if you're talking about picking up everyone else, I would say more so on the Mondo side, in my opinion. Not that I don't like JC, and JC's a great choice, but I just
JC had over 100 tackles.
Yep.
Again, which is a huge milestone for a linebacker. And the problem with Mondo is he's on a defensive line where you had Bazzi having a really great second half.
Yeah.
You had a phenomenal second year from Kwaku Boateng, and like we just said, Seresna had a good year.
Yeah.
So because those guys had done really well, I think it sort of split some of the votes for.
And it may, but here's my other argument that I'm just going to put out there. 100 tackles, to me, yes, it's a fantastic achievement. That means your defense was on the field way too much.
Yeah. But again, this isn't the most outstanding player. It's most outstanding
defensive player. Right. So I'm just like, so I could go either way on that one. Most outstanding Canadian, Earthquake, which I believe we all called that at the beginning of the season, did we not? Yeah. So I was going to be I thought at the time it'd be a toss-up between Kwaku and Konar, but Konar
was injured a few times.
Yeah.
But major props to our buddy Kwaku, and I think there's no arguing on that one. Everyone's good with that one. All right. Offensive lineman to Matt O'Donnell.
Amen.
Yeah.
I mean, having to shift to 3 different positions at some point, that's outstanding.
Yeah.
Left guard, right guard, and left tackle. I mean, the hardest position on the offensive line really is that left tackle spot. So.
Yeah, and he didn't look out of place. That's the thing, in the left tackle spot.
And really, when he was in the NFL, he was a right tackle. And that's the one position he didn't play outside of center. So.
Yeah, exactly. And the one position I'd rather him play. Let's just leave that. Okay, special teams. Was there any other choice than Monday night?
No.
After Kayla's little barrage a moment ago, I'm going to say
that excludes the kicking team.
Okay, yes, thank you. Yeah.
I was going to say, I mean, I thought that Hugh O'Neill had quietly an excellent season.
Yes, absolutely.
And the kickoffs, again, were a little short, and some of his punts would be too, but that's because he was directionally punting and trying to get that hang time up there. But he still had a great net.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. He had a great job and kind of
the more the beard grows, the better he gets.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Keep him growing, man.
That's right.
Oh, wait, that sounded horrible. All right.
Billy.
Rookie of the year to Money Monshadrick Hunter. Sorry, I said that wrong. But I did. We were lucky enough to talk to him early on in the season.
Yep.
Young dude who's really kind of learning the game. He's got a bunch of speed.
He's an athlete, no question.
Absolutely. Do you think there was any other choices in this particular race?
I thought Nick Usher was pretty decent. He didn't have a full year, though, so I think that definitely worked against him. The thing is, if you're a general manager, you're really judged on your rookie crop, especially both the guys you draft and the guys that you bring in from the States and just free agent signings and trades and things like that. There just wasn't a whole lot of big names, and we're used to when we've had guys like Darrell Walker and we've had Brandon Zylstra and we've had Duke
John Ojo.
John Ojo, exactly. These are guys that we were winning or in the conversation for Rookie of the Year across the league, and this year just really wasn't a lot. So I think this year we better see some better names from, like, some diamonds coming out of the general manager position.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think if not that I ever think that CJ Gable should have gone down, but if Shaq Cooper had played the whole year, I feel he would have probably he would have landed this spot, right? So, but I mean, congrats to Money and for what he was doing on the team. I
think he did definitely have improvements throughout the year. Yeah.
He totally got thrown into the fire.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that he did. You could tell he learned some things, and he definitely improved. And I mean, I remember at the beginning of the year, there were so many missed tackles.
Yes. Yeah.
But again, it's kind of hard when you keep moving guys around in the backfield and the secondary. But I think that he did prove himself to be a good enough rookie to win that award by actually growing. Not saying that he's the best, but saying that he learned, he grew, and he improved.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's certainly not going to win the Western Nom.
No, I wouldn't think so. No, I wouldn't think so.
No.
I think if anybody but Lewis Ward gets that award, it would be wrong.
CFL.
It'd be
it's kind of where I'm thinking.
Or we get special teams as well.
Yeah, I would think so. All right, so I'm going to throw a wrench in here for you guys for one that wasn't on there, but you mentioned this earlier, Jen, as kind of the unsung player. So if you had to pick one that was your unsung player of the year, who would you pick?
That's a tough one. There's a lot of good guys there. I think I'd probably have to say, well, I mean, the obvious is Duke Williams. I mean, he's not unsung, but he's just not on the list.
Right.
Because there isn't... It's a bit of a funny list, the way that it's set up, where you do have a best defensive player, but you don't have a best offensive player.
They kind of do that with MOP, right?
With MOP, they assume is going to be offensive, but it doesn't. It shouldn't
not
have
always.
to be.
Jeez, you all right over there?
No.
Just a minor earthquake.
Yeah.
But... yeah, I'm trying to think who else would had a great year. There are a lot of guys that had the potential for great years that maybe didn't have the opportunity because of injuries, like Konar and people like that.
Yeah.
There was a lot of potential there. If Jackson had come on sooner and had better support, then he might have had a breakout year, but he didn't. And so I think it was more like potential rather than someone that did well and didn't get recognized. For me. There was no one that stood out for me. Just a lot of kind of potential that just didn't quite have a chance to flourish.
Okay.
That's kind of what I was left with.
All right, that's fair. Kayla, do you have somebody in mind?
Yes, somebody, and then some more plays rather than players.
Okay.
So, firstly, I think that Sean White is as good as he is because of the holder that he has, which is in Danny O'Brien.
Yeah.
I think he is someone who is extremely vital, who has become vital to this team in very quiet ways. I think he's a good support system for Mike Riley. He was an excellent support system for that QB core last year, especially with his relationship with James Franklin.
Yeah.
I think he's just an all-around good dude. And
he's a brilliant dancer.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah. Especially with his partner, who is sadly no longer with us.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I would agree.
But, I think that there are people that's why they're unsung, is you only hear from them when they make a mistake, and I don't think that Danny made a mistake this year. So
awesome. That's a great pick.
And for as far as positions, I just want to give a shout out to both Brian Mitchell and Natea Jay for some epic blocking this year, for some extraordinary plays. You look at Brian Mitchell, and he's tall, but he's a smaller dude. He doesn't have that thickness, apparently, that you would think that dude can block.
Yeah.
But he did some monster throws, and I was just like, again, racking on the reasons why he is beyond my favorite player. Just so dedicated in that position. And I really wish that Natea would get a little more shout outs, because when he catches a ball, when he blocks, he kills it every time. And same with that last game, that epic grab from Natea that unfortunately got called back from a stupid penalty.
Yeah.
But guy performs when you give him the ball, and he's such a team player, and he's so quiet, he doesn't complain, he just does his role, and he does it superbly. So I'm really proud of those dudes, all three of them.
Awesome. Great choices. Superfan?
Well, I've got a couple myself. I've already mentioned Hugh O'Neill, I think. Again, very quietly, he had a really solid year punting.
Yep.
His kickoffs maybe weren't as long, but they hung up there, which allows the teams to get down there. Sometimes that doesn't always work. That's really not his fault.
That was the plan.
Yeah. Again, if everyone else could tackle, we'd probably do a lot better.
Yeah.
And another guy I thought did quite well when he came into the team this year, because he wasn't at the beginning of the year, and that's Mark Mackey. A guy that on that defensive line, because you've got Mondo Sewell, you've got Sresna, who's getting more of the sacks and things like that, but there's still some really good pressures, and he even got some sacks this year. I thought Milk Truck definitely earned his spot on this team.
I would wholeheartely agree. I think the one, I have, I guess, a couple. One is I guess the latter half. I want to give the most improved player. If I could give that, I would give that to Chris Edwards.
Yes.
For as much as we got on him at the beginning of the season, as the season went on, he really, deservedly, exactly. But as the season went on, he got better at that position. So I do want to give him a little bit of props there. But if I had to go with an unsung hero, I'm actually going to go with David Beard. I think that he took over that center role for most of the second half of the season.
After being a right guard,
Absolutely. And that's a leader position, and he's a young dude. And, I know he's been with the team for a number of years now, but he's really he kind of quietly went along and did what he was supposed to do. And as much as I get down on the offensive line, where my kind of wrath usually lands is on the tackles and not so much on the interior. And I think David Beard, hometown kid and doesn't really say a whole lot either. So he's not a super loud dude, but I thought he had a great season. So
and especially when he was drafted, he wasn't the sexy pick.
No,
because we ended up taking someone else in the first round as an offensive lineman who's no longer with the team.
That's right. Yeah,
it came from a big school in Laval versus Beard, who was most people thought a reach at the second round pick that we took him in, and they said, well, he's going to take a while to develop, and sure enough, it seems like he's developed.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's a good call.
Question: did you guys name Mackie Milk Truck?
Yes, that's what.
Does he know?
We didn't name him Milk Truck.
No,
Odell.
That was Odell that gave him that nickname. But he does know that we call him Milk Truck. Yes.
Odell.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he was the only white guy on the defensive line. So
that's
he got hit like a milk truck.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, let's take a really quick break, and then we'll come back with a little more breakdown of the season. We will pick our games for this week, and then, of course, we've got our Pick'em and Fantasy winners for this year.
This is David Sanchez from CFL.CA's The Waggles, and you're listening to the Eskimo Empire Podcast.
The Eskimo Empire Podcast is brought to you by United Construction Company. As a full-service commercial general contractor, United Construction Company serves large and small-scale commercial, light industrial, and multifamily residential construction projects across Western Canada. UCC is a relationship-focused builder, forming a trust and respect that is at the forefront of their commitment to quality, value, and integrity. Visit their website at unitedconstruction.ca to find out more and support them as they support the Empire.
Get loud for me. Get loud for me. Get loud for me. Hands in the crowd, we tearing it down.
You can join the Empire online.
Find us at eskempire.ca.
Check out all the new vlogs and then follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
For more history, follow at Esks History on Twitter.
And even more of my pics on Esk Empire Photo.
Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to help the pod grow. Thanks again for listening. Let's get back to the show. Welcome back from not going anywhere. We're going to talk a little bit more about the Eskimos this season. Mm-hmm. I realized something on Saturday when I was at the game. I am a spoiled fan.
Yes.
In the entire time that I have been an Eskimo fan, we have missed the playoffs twice.
I'm sorry, what?
Twice. Because we had the long run.
Yeah.
Right?
Ended in 2006.
Right? Oh, I thought it ended... Oh, sorry, 3 times. I forgot about 2006. I blocked that one out. Okay, so 3 times.
Welcome to my world.
Right? 2006, 2013, 14.
13.
And this year.
4 and 14, yeah.
And this year. So I realized that as I looked back on that, because of course I can only remember 2, I'm like, okay, I'm a spoiled fan. So here, this is one of the few times that I'm in the stadium watching a game that really didn't have any meaning. I'm just watching the guys play. Now, of course, the last time that they missed the playoffs, of course, our coach got fired. And there was a whole shade over, right? Because in 14, then in comes, we all know who came in, and then he all left like a jerk. Yeah. So this past week, a couple of different reports came out. The first one coming, reported by Arash Madani, that news came out that Brock was... inquiring with a bunch of the assistant coaches and coordinators on the head coach position. Then yesterday they have the wrap up of the Eskimo season, and Brock basically calls... Literally does.
That's what he said.
Yeah, exactly. And the reports are now coming that both Brock and Jason will stay on. So, as a fan, I'll start with you, Jen. What do you think of both of them staying on, or are you in agreement with that, or where do you sit on that?
I'm good with both of them staying on. The best part of Jason staying on is that I think it increases the possibility of Mike Riley staying on. And, at some point you got to have some continuity. And, there's also the question of Jason's contract and whether that would affect the cap next year and all that.
Right.
So there's lots of good reasons to keep him there. But yesterday when all of the players couldn't have said much more effusive things about Jason Moss than they did. So
Agreed.
At the end of the day, you have to kind of be directed by them to a certain extent. And it's always a question of what else is better out there? Who else are you going to get that's going to do a better job? When the Eskimos miss the playoffs, people are going to react. Because, like you said, Andrew, people are not used to this happening. We are spoiled.
We are.
And so it's a bit of a shock when it happens, and some people are hitting the panic button a little bit, but a 9-9 season is not like the worst possible thing. We've all seen worse. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if it's panic button time. I don't think there's a good reason to get rid of Jason Moss, and I don't think there's a compelling enough reason to get rid of Sunderland either. I think he's done some decent things, and I think that there's so much that you take away when you make changes that you better bring in something that's really good to make up for the disruption, and I'm not sure that that's in the cards. So I'm happy to keep those guys around. I don't think there's a better option necessarily coming along, and everyone just needs to be calm, take a deep breath. I know people want to see big changes. People want heads to roll. Yeah. But I don't know if you have to think about what the effect of that will be and whether that will actually create a better team than we had this year. And I'm not sure that that's the fix we need. There's other fixes that we need to make, but I'm not sure that those are the ones.
Okay. Superfan, I'm going to go to you this time.
Yeah. Blowing up a team that's gone 9-9 and really was a small handful of plays from having 3, maybe even 4 more wins than that.
Right.
You're talking about a 13-5 team at that point. And if you're 13-5, you're not talking about replacing anybody.
Right.
I think that Saskatchewan game, maybe if we would have had a separate offensive coordinator, we're doing things a little differently, we win that game.
Yeah.
The Labor Day game in Calgary came down to the last play.
Absolutely. I mean, the Hamilton game right before that.
Exactly.
Right down to the last play.
So there's 3 games right there that were for the taking. Now, other people could say, well, just as easily, you won some games early on, right? That Calgary Labor Day rematch.
Yeah.
That was...
Although we had a huge lead,
exactly. But again, same kind of thing, right? So, but I honestly think we are close. And again, if you're a 9-9 team, now we have had a 500 team where we fired the coaches a couple of times.
Yes.
It's not necessarily good enough in Edmonton, but I think you're going to have to stay with it. You look at some of the best teams in this league. Calgary's been the model of consistency for so long. Mm-hmm. And how long have they had some of those guys there with Dickinson and with Huffnagel? They've allowed that team to make those mistakes early on, and it's paid off for them in spades, and I want a piece of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Commissioner?
You're almost like hesitant to come over.
I was looking forward to your answer. I wanted to switch up the direction just for fun.
That's fine. You're just like,
okay. Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for coming.
And it was a great show. No,
I distinctly remember also saying that the reason why Calgary is Calgary, even though Grey Cup aside, they are a strong team. You cannot deny that. And why is that? It's continuity. It's consistency. It's keeping guys around that can actually do something good for that team. Coaching, management, players, it all stems from the same thing as continuity. And they're talented. All of them, they know football. I stand exactly where I was last week. Stop being so reactionary. Stop being so emotional. I get it. It sucks. It's 1 year. Again, like you said, spoiled fans. We're not used to it. Yeah. But you know what? Sometimes we need a hard kick of reality, and this might be the season for it. And I am all for that. I am more about loyalty than I am about heads rolling. And I firmly believe that Sutherland did not have a shot this year. He was on he came in right before the draft.
Well, that was the year before. This was his first year that he had the full
entirety
year.
thing.
Yes.
Okay, so you deserve more of a shot. And Ed Hervey built something tremendous in this organization, and he came in with bitter blood from, I think, a lot of diehard fans, even me. Like I loved Ed Hervey, and I was sickened that he got the boot.
Yes.
And I think from that, if you're a wise enough person, it stems much further, these problems, than just the coaching, just the players. It goes much higher, much deeper, and these problems need to be solved within the organization, and stop using coaches as a scapegoat, because decisions are made also by management, also from the coaches that are like on the sidelines. It's not all on Moss. Just because he's the head coach doesn't mean he makes all those decisions. It's up to Brock. It's up to Len. There are so many people, and I know some of them who are on the board who can make those decisions, and I implore you to explore a different position for Len. Like, I think Len is a tremendous person, especially for community outreach. I think he needs to be a part of this organization, especially for him going to the north and talking to communities up in the north about the name, having a hand outreach to the community, always trying to make this organization better. As a football mind, I am not convinced at all. I think that's where it needs to start. And I am full on board to have Sunderland and Moss come back next year, because, like you said, Jen, that there's a higher likelihood that Riley and more of the receivers are going to come back with Moss. Continuity. And I'm sorry, but winning is everything when it comes to a football organization, Len. It is. For a community organization standpoint, absolutely not. Absolutely not. As for a football business, championships are everything.
Yeah. That's why we're so spoiled. We had 14 of them already.
Yeah, so I think stop having a knee-jerk reaction, everyone. Chill. Take some of Jenn Zen. Y'all need it. And some coaches' positivity. Okay?
JennX.
And
JennX. Love it.
Try a new name.
Yeah. Just have some faith in this team and this organization. The pieces are going to be put back together. You only see one piece of the puzzle, of this whole massive puzzle. So just relax. It's one season. We'll get through it. We'll have therapy sessions if needed. But we'll come back.
Yeah. That's basically what this is. This is constant weekly therapy, right?
Have gin. It works for me.
That will be taking a break all of December. But still,
we've had so many changes since 2005.
I agree.
And again, we've missed the playoffs more than that, by the way.
Yeah, but
2006, 2007, 2010. We missed the playoffs all those years. But we kept changing coaches all the time. And that's what happens. You just have no continuity, right?
Right. But the thing is overall, it doesn't usually happen.
No, we also keep our coaches for a lot longer back then with,
exactly.
Kay Stevenson being an exception.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
A 500 record, not good enough.
Not good enough. Yeah, exactly. I agree with what you guys all said. I think that Moss, Sunderland both need another shot. Mm-hmm. I do think that one of the big things that, and we've talked about this so many times on the podcast, that the Moss was at a bit of a disadvantage with his OC leaving a few weeks before training camp.
Sure.
It is obvious to me that he does need an OC, and so that he can just be the head coach.
Yeah.
Like almost to a player in the exit interviews, right? It is they will run through a wall for Moss. Mm-hmm. So that's the kind of coach you want.
Yeah.
You want to give them that opportunity. But I do think that there does need to be a new offensive coordinator coming in. Or
being promoted.
Yeah, there is a chance of being promoted. Although I would really like, and I think you and I, we talked about this with Jed last week too, it would be nice to see an older coach come in that has some experience that can balance Moss a little. Instead of being the yes guy. Do you know what I mean? Like, as much as... I mean, because, I don't know for sure. I'm not in the locker room, but I can tell you from watching on the sidelines.
You could be.
I could be, yeah. Mm-hmm. Watching on the sidelines, I don't know if I'd be that excited about saying, Jason, let's talk about that. I don't know
if you're wrong, Jason.
Jason, I don't really agree with.
We want more GIFs.
Like I don't really want.
As long as you're not dressed up as a Gatorade jug, you're fine.
Yeah, that's true. But so I wonder if there just needs a little balance. That's what I'm wondering.
Absolutely.
Like a little Zen Jenn, as we were just talking.
Zen
a little balance.
I'm available. I'm available, Jason.
He has done much better in the second half of the season.
Absolutely.
He did do a lot better.
Yeah. What's this?
But the team didn't.
That's true.
Yeah,
correlation?
Yeah.
So, but I do think that he just needs some balance. That's all. Like, he can be his fiery. But that's why he had success in Ottawa. He had the balance of Rick Campbell.
Yeah.
He had success in
pretty
Toronto.
mellow.
He had the balance of Mladavic, right?
Yeah.
So, hey, if Mladavic comes available, I'd be all right with that.
I think if Mladavic comes available, he'll go a little further west.
Well, possibly. But still... there's always a shot. Needless to say, what do you think then are... Like, who do we look for to help the team? I know we've talked about this, that, is it time, because we have to change something? I don't think we have to change everything. No. Is it time that we start looking at a new defensive coordinator? Is it time that we pull in somebody completely new for offensive coordinator? Obviously, we have to look at somebody entirely new on special teams. Is that things where we need to look at it? And if so, do we have anybody in mind?
Well, for defense, I think we probably look at... You're not going to get someone who's already defensive coordinator.
No.
Coming out. You're not going to get these guys because they're already a successful defensive coordinator in another system.
Right.
I think that you're going to have to look at, say, finding someone who's a positional player and elevating them.
Right.
Or someone who's out of the game and bring them back in. I think that one of the guys that they've talked about becoming a DC for the longest time is already on this team, and that's Baron Miles.
Right. Yeah.
Does
he run the same system as Benny, because that's the one that he mostly knew?
He does, but he might have his own version. Right? He's a younger guy.
Yep.
And he's coming from a different perspective than Benny is. So,
sure.
If Benny has some good stuff in his schemes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you take that, you improve on it, you throw in your own wrinkles and twists, and, maybe you've got something there.
Okay.
Become less conservative, I think.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, and I think you and I talked about the possibility of, when you look, again, with a lot of Ottawa connections, as soon as you start talking about Sunderland, you look at the possibility of like a Mark Nelson coming back as defensive coordinator. And who's
been defensive coordinator
That's
before.
right. He has had the defensive coordinator experience, but right now isn't in that position. So is that something that he might be looking for and knows already the Eskimo way and all those types of things.
It's all going to be part of the exit interviews, right? You're going to sit down with the guys and say, listen, Benny, what are you going to do different that we didn't do this year? Because if you do the exact same thing, we're probably going to get the same results. So
we only see one side of the coin.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Makes it so much harder to actually come to any kind of conclusions. I mean, not for Superfan Mike, because he's an encyclopedia and he knows all.
That's past, though. That's history.
Yeah, history.
But it is history.
Yeah.
Right. We want to talk
Fred
about what's
Sets is
waiting
awesome.
for the future. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's right.
No, I think you know the future, too. You're just not telling us.
Yeah, because that's why I've won the lottery. So
Well, you're working on it. I know it. Well, it's going to be a crazy off season as we talk about all these different business season. I almost messed it up there. It'll be a crazy business season, so we're going to have lots to talk about in the coming months. But this is fun to always start with some of these chats. Let's talk about our pick'ems quickly. We do have a winner on the season.
We do,
and it is the one and only Derek.
Oh
no! Jeez, she
Got
wrecked it
super
off.
happy.
No. Yeah. Derek Mapstone.
Well done,
So
Derek.
D Mappy, well done. Sits in K2, so I'll give him a little extra bonus for
There
that.
you go.
That's good.
Hey, that's from City for Grey Cup.
Yay!
Derek.
So there you go. You'll get to see him. So we are working on just getting a little prize package together, so we'll get in touch with you very soon. Let's pick our semifinals, shall we? We'll start with the Eastern one. BC versus Hamilton in the Hammer. Let's start on this side this time. Superfan.
Oh,
Who you got?
It's interesting. We've got such a Jekyll and Hyde team in Hamilton. You don't really know week to week who's going to show up. BC has been very strong, but on the road they're not so great, and their last game wasn't so great at
not
home
really.
even.
Yeah.
So, that's a tough one. But with Banks out, I just don't really like Hamilton's chances as much. So sorry to Mike and Josh from Podski Wee Wee, but I'm going to go with the Podfather in this one, and I say BC takes it.
All right. Jen, what do you got?
I totally agree with everything that Mike said. I think that it could go either way, but I think Banks being out is kind of the deciding factor for me. So, yeah, I think BC's going to take it, but they sure are going to have to play a whole lot better than they did on Saturday night.
yes.
I don't know what happened there, but yeah, as long as they can come back from that, then yeah, I think it's going to be BC.
Okay.
It's
Kayla?
the litter box bowl that I was anticipating for Grey Cup, so this sucks.
Yeah, it's a little
I
early.
hate my life.
Yeah, a little
Holy
early.
Mazzoli or Wally? Like, what the heck?
I know. So
That is very tough.
Yeah. Oh, well, one moves on and hopefully to Grey Cup. I don't know.
I like the song.
This is tough, man. This is
Gilbert and Sullivan are
unfair.
like-
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Like, something keeps... I don't know if it's because it's like... I hear you guys echoing in my head now. That's like, BC.
Yeah.
So, I think you're right, though. I think it is going to be the Lions, and it pains me to say, because I won't be able to use Holy Mazzoli for another year.
Somewhere Michaela at Mouchoir is losing her mind. over
That's
this, by
right.
the
Yeah,
way.
absolutely. Yes, she is. Yes, because if BC wins, then that means BC and Ottawa.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Why does that matter?
Well, because she was a BC
Former
Lions
BC fan now cheering for Ottawa, so
Yeah.
her heart is torn
Yes,
asunder.
exactly.
That would be
Yes.
difficult.
It'd be like Ottawa, Winnipeg for Ottawa J.
Yeah.
Like it would be, it's a tough one, right?
Yeah. This
All
is
right.
why it's nice to not care that much, because
That's it.
really, I don't care in the end.
All right. So,
As long as it's
so
not...
BC then?
So you don't pick with your heart. You can pick with your
I don't know, because my heart is also like...
torn asunder.
But...
I wish this was
Okay,
a
you
video
know what?
podcast.
Actually, we'll mix it up. We'll say Hamilton.
Oh,
Who knows?
All right
Yeah.
then. Excellent.
Plot twist.
Well, like
Well,
those.
right at the last second. She just
I am a book
snatched it away
fanatic
there.
after all.
That's lovely. I am going same with you.
Damn
Kayla.
it!
I think
supposed to be
I think
unique.
Hamilton finds a way at home.
Well, BC wins then. Good.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. Yeah. Oh wait, BC win. No, okay. It's too late now. I can't change the jinx from the jinx. No, I actually do think Hamilton wins at home. BC's had a rough go on the road, and
Especially
I think
in
they're-
Hamilton.
Yeah, and I think they're starting to
who
just kind of
hasn't?
find that how to be played against, if you know what I mean. Like I think it wouldn't really matter, because I don't think that Hamilton has so much more than BC that they're definitely going to win.
Yeah,
I just think there's been enough cracks in BC's armor that you look and say, you know, a game that probably should have meant a whole lot to the players and to Wally, and they kind of didn't show up for it.
They didn't have necessarily their starting lineup, right?
I guess, but still.
Jennings going in more than...
So I don't know. I just think Hamilton finds a way at home. So I'm gonna go Ticats. Yeah, Holy Mazzoli.
Holy Mazzoli
Let's
finds
go.
a way.
Mazzoli and Tasker.
I wanted to say it. That's right.
Who's your daddy?
Yeah, exactly. All right, then we got Winnipeg in Saskatchewan for the West Semi.
This is a tough one.
Oh, God, can they both lose? Okay, Jen, who do you got?
I'll never pick Saskatchewan, probably.
Okay.
Just because I can't.
Yeah,
I just can't bring myself to ever pick Saskatchewan. So I think I had already decided in my mind and heart that I wanted to pick Winnipeg, so I just looked for reasons to excuse that pick.
That's fair.
And the reason that I came up with is that there's just weird question marks about what the quarterback situation is in Saskatchewan right now.
Has been all year.
Yeah.
With bringing in Drew Tate. Did they just bring in Drew Tate?
Yes, they did. Yes.
So what is going on?
And Simeon Rotier.
Yeah.
And
so
Johnson,
Chris Jones is just doing weird things. I don't know. There's obviously something's going on there. So I'm going to say there's trouble in Paradise in Saskatchewan. I don't think we know the half of it. And so I'm Winnipeg, and I'm still rooting for Matt Nichols as always. So
all right.
I like Winnipeg. They're my second favorite team. So
all right. Well, that's fair.
Go Bombers.
Okay. Excellent.
I'm sorry. Can we just Poop Johnson?
Yes, Corey Poop Johnson.
That's his nickname, yes.
Clearly. Not his parents didn't be like, you know what a good name for
John? Poop. Yeah, that's
Johnson, the slang for toilet and poop.
Yeah.
Well, John, yeah.
Well...
Yeah. Johnson's also slang for something else. But anyway, that's... we're not getting into that. Yeah. So,
Anyway,
he never even had
that
a
whole
chance.
story was... He asked for his release from Winnipeg so he could
go
home and do work.
Off the PR.
Yeah, and then he turned around and signed with Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
Shady.
Yes.
You are
shady.
Poopy.
Nice.
Wow.
The Hodges will agree. Yeah.
Ew. This sucks. This really sucks, y'all.
Yeah.
Riders at home, but again, who is it? Is it Ugly Sidney Crosby? Is it Brandon Banks? Who knows anymore? You signed Drew Tate,
Brandon Bridge.
USC did.
Oh, what did I say?
play.
Brandon Banks. Yeah, oops.
Yes.
USC did practice today.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean lots. I mean, he's...
First team reps.
Where's Odell Willis when you need him again? I'm just kidding.
Oh, my.
Just kidding.
Wow. Yeah. Just kidding, not really? Okay.
Not really.
All right.
That's mean. I never want to see anyone hurt, but I also don't want to see the Riders succeed, so I'm really torn.
All right, then.
I don't... The Riders at home are beatable. I mean, I was there when the Eskimos beat them in 2015. It was glorious. It was grand. It was one of the best days of my life. No, was that 2015?
They sure did.
They sure did, yeah.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah. I just don't remember.
Yeah.
My life as a player.
That was at the end of the season, right? Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a Riders fan at all. Will not cheer for them ever.
I think we got that.
No, I don't think you do. But I'm also I'm not a Matt Nichols fan. There's just something about that guy that just rubs me the wrong way. I can't put my finger on it, but like I said, his comments are worth the sense that his name and adds up to. So, unfortunately, I think the I don't know. Riders are going to take it.
Oh, my. All right, then. Okay. I think you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
Doesn't matter.
All right, you go then.
Sure.
I'll throw in at the end.
I was asked at Westivus and leading up to it a lot, actually, who I thought was going to be in the Grey Cup this year, and I said it was going to be Winnipeg and Ottawa.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I think that Saskatchewan's defense is clearly the class of the league.
Right.
They've scored 90 more points on defense than we have. 90 points.
Yes.
And that's more than our defense is, not just
Yeah.
how many they've scored.
Yeah.
Which is outstanding. I just don't think that's a model that can sustain itself that long. So Winnipeg has got enough weapons. They still have a really solid offensive line. They've got Andrew Harris, which is just amazing. And somehow I think Nichols is going to manage to pull out a win.
Nicely done.
Well, and they got Big Hill, man. That guy's a beast.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm going Winnipeg as well. I actually think that if you looked at the two teams comparatively, just Winnipeg has more balance all the way through the lineup as compared
Offense, defense, and
to
specials.
Saskatchewan. So
best kicker,
yeah, absolutely. So
it isn't money.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't know. Really, I mean, Saskatchewan definitely could find a way. They
Sure
come
they
out and they out of
But
the
it's
blue
rarely
all of
on
a sudden.
offense.
No, exactly. But they could find a way. But I think Winnipeg will pull this one off. I think they're just more balanced overall. So
I hope you're right.
yeah. Okay. Good. We very quickly, our fantasy, we also have a winner in our fantasy draft, and that is the one and only the Hell Caminos. I believe his actual name is Dylan, and he messaged on Twitter and said, hey, look at that, bragging rights and everything. And I'm like, oh, we're just getting a package together for you. He's like, there's actually a prize. What the hell? So hopefully we'll have that prize together soon, and we will get that out to you. And thanks to everybody who played in the fantasy league this year. Yeah, it was very fun. Yeah, I didn't even see where we ended up, but I think I'm in the top 10.
All I know is Jedi beat me, and I've heard nothing but.
Oh well, as it should be.
Yeah,
that's perfect. Yeah.
Sorry. Who won in the Who won between you two in Pick'ems?
Oh, it would have been Andrew. No question.
No, in Pick'ems.
Oh, Pick'ems.
Mike won. Yeah, and in fantasy I won.
There you go.
So you balanced each other out.
That's right. That's what we do. And
I just lost.
Yeah, next year you're learning how to play fantasy, and you're going to play.
Oh, that's so much.
It'll be so fun.
Okay.
Well, thank you for coming in, Jen.
Yes.
This was awesome, and I loved the chat. It was fantastic. Tell everyone again where they can find you on Twitter and your podcast, so that everybody
you can find me on Twitter at JennX68. JennX68. I have a second Twitter account. That's my X-Files oriented one, which is JennXFile, JennXPhile.
Okay.
And that's where I tweet about all things X-Files related, but my Eskimos and real life Twitter is at JennX68. And my podcast is X-Files Diaries, and you can find us on Twitter at XFD Podcast.
Awesome.
And that's where you can find my podcast. So thank you for giving me a chance to plug my
Absolutely.
podcast.
We're
I appreciate
nerds
that.
here.
Yeah, we all love the X-Files.
Yeah,
So.
exactly. Yeah,
Nice.
we're all on board.
All right, good stuff.
Commissioner?
Oh, before I get to my Twitter,
Yes.
I just want to affirm that your podcast is on iTunes, and is it on Google Music?
It is on Google Podcasts.
Google Podcasts?
Yeah,
I'll have
absolutely.
to look that up because I don't roll with the Apple, so I gotta make sure.
No
it's
Google Podcasts. I had
No
to,
iron phone.
Well, sometimes they don't put stuff on the Google. And it's kind of unfair.
Well, and my podcast host and myself are both just Apple people, and so we had to ask one of our listeners to say, "Can you find us on Google Podcasts?" Because we didn't have access to any Android stuff.
Yeah.
And so, yes, she said, "Yes, I found you there," and I listened to it, and she liked it. So.
Perfect.
Fantastic.
Oh, you can find me at Duchess on Party.
Lovely. Super fan.
You can find me at 56 Parkies or Fitty.
Fitty.
I was going to say, Fitty. You got to say it right. Yeah, exactly.
I'm just no Jed.
Fity.
He's throwing gang signs right now, by the way.
That's only we're a visual podcast.
Video podcast one day. That's right. You can find me, of course, at Freepalicious and the show at Esk Empire Pod. Thank you again to our sponsor, United Construction Company. Check out their website, unitedconstruction.ca. And, of course, follow them on Twitter at UCC_EDM. You down with UCC?
Yeah, you know me.
Lovely. And I do want to thank them as well because they are helping us out Grey Cup week. We'll be able to join them at the Spirit of Edmonton breakfast and of course at the Spirit of Edmonton room. So thank you again.
It's gonna be fun.
UCC. Oh, I can't wait. That's the most exciting thing in 3 weeks. Hey, okay. And
of course, the birthday boy.
Yeah.
Well, let's find all of our social channels, of course, and all the blogs and photos and all those fun things on eskempire.ca. Now, we will be back as there is more Esk news out. We will probably try and do a show Grey Cup week and then some small ones during Grey Cup week, and then we'll do one wrapping up Grey Cup.
Yep.
But then we'll, of course, take a break. Unless there's some big Esks breaking news, then we'll definitely get together and chat more about it.
Are we doing a wrap-up party since we missed it to last year?
Yeah, I've been so busy with trading cards that I have no time to plan a party, but we'll see what I can come up with.
It could be after Grey Cup.
All right, we will figure this. We will figure something
Maybe January.
out. Quite likely. Yeah, let's go with January. That's gives us all time to have a little calm down time.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
He thought I was hot, too.
Only one question this week. Are we ready for Grey Cup week?
Absolutely.
For Jen, Commissioner Kayla, and Superfan Mike, I'm Andrew. Remember, you can't catch footballs with your face, and we will absolutely talk to you in a couple weeks.
Thanks for listening. Find more great shows like this at CF Pod Network on Twitter.